back to Four Faces. Listen, let's talk about that fight with Tyson Fury and Francis. Yeah, let me tell you something. You seen it, I seen it. It was fantastic, right? Tyson Fury got his butt knocked to the ground. Now, I'm not going to rehash what you probably already know. But let's talk about the haters. Let's talk about the haters. People like Southpaw, Fanon, right? These are these YouTube channels, right? That sat there and Blue Blood Sports, right? And some of the professional boxers out there that sat there and belittle him and said, oh, it ain't gonna happen. There's no way he's gonna win. Right? Like Mayweather and all these clowns. They sat there, they didn't give Francis no chance. They said there's no way in the world. But one man did believe in him. Tyson. Mike Tyson. He believed in him. And he helped him. He helped the man win. I believe he definitely was instrumental in his win. Matter of fact, after the fight with Tyson Fury, Francis said to Mike, you know what? I love you. Thank you, man. Thank you. Because you know what? He recognized that Mike Tyson was a big help to him. And the game plan was great. Now, even though Francis lost by a split decision, mind you, by a split decision, and we're going to talk about the politics with that win, but the strategy was great. The strategy was straightforward. And this is not something I'm saying. This is something that actually Francis said. Right? This is not my opinion. Go look at the interview and you can see for yourself exactly what he said. He said the game plan, one of the parts of the game plan, obviously I'm not going to tell you everything, but he said one of the game plans was not to go in there looking for a knockout. And that was so smart. Because if you go and look for a knockout, what's going to happen is that he's going to use up a lot of his energy. You got to remember, Francis only been boxing for 4 months. 4 months against a professional boxer like Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury, just in case you don't know, Tyson Fury is supposed to be the heavy. He is not supposed to be. He is the heavyweight champion of the world. He have knocked out some big guys with big punches, and yet he could not beat a guy with only 4 months of training. 4 months of boxing training. Now, to be fair about it, Francis, he's an MMA fighter, right? However, he never fought in a boxing ring ever. 4 months training with Mike Tyson assisting him as a coach, rather, right? Mike Tyson was supposed to be his coach. A lot of guys keep saying, "Oh, he's a trainer. He was a trainer." Mike Tyson was not Francis' trainer. That's stupid. You keep saying it, and some of your YouTube channels out there keep saying it's not true. Matter of fact, how do I know? Because guess who said it? Mike Tyson himself said it. Mike Tyson literally said, I am not his trainer. I'm a coach. And he said, well, what's the difference? He said, well, I'm not a paid hand. Okay, so that's not my opinion. That's the facts. So let's get that straight, right? Southpaw, right? Blue Blood Sports, and right? Fanon, and all the other channels out there. Let's get that straight. Okay, with that being said, the training, the strategy was great. Another thing was that he did that was allow Francis to knock down Tyson Fury was that overhang. He got him. He caught him real clean. I think right in the temple. Bow. Knocked him to the canvas. And after that, after that knockdown from Francis knocking down Tyson Fury, Tyson Fury, you could tell he was shook. He felt that power. And remember before the fight, how Tyson Fury and his daddy was like, oh, he's going to knock you out. He's going to show you something. Going to put you in there. I'm going to knock you. I mean, these two guys was a bunch of clowns with a red nose on them. Talking about how they going to knock Francis out. And Francis like, yeah, go right ahead. He was calm. He was collective. And guess what? He went the whole 10 rounds. And the only way that Tyson Fury won was through a split decision. And we're going to talk about that split decision. Because, even then, there's a lot of speculations on how that could even occur. Considering that Francis was beating him in a lot of the rounds. But anyway, be said, be done. The fact of the matter is that no one believed in the man. They didn't believe him. But now all these channels instead of apologizing to your audience, your fan base, why don't you say, you know what, guys, I made a mistake. I thought he was gonna win. None of them done it. Not wasn't Southpaw, Fanon, Blue Blood Sport, none of these guys, none of the boxers, professional boxing in the world, no CBS, no NBC, none of these spectators, commentators, none of them apologize. Instead, they're like, oh, well, I can see why. Why don't you start with an apology, and then you can go and talk about why Tyson Fury got his butt knocked down to the ground. Then you can start talking about that. But they don't want to do that. See, the point is this. I was so happy to see this guy do what he did. And I was always rooting for him because you know what? He's got a story. He's got a story to tell. The story, and I watched this story. I watched a little documentary they had about on how he started out, in Africa, the poverty and escaping. I mean, the whole thing goes into, you got to check out the documentary. And it was a fantastic story. That's why I want him to win. Now, I like Tyson Fury. I got nothing against Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury's a great guy. I like him. I like his style. He's a little brash sometimes, but we understand it's business, right? But with that being said, all that mouth didn't help him. I mean, all that talking didn't help him. Now, the last thing I want to say about this is very simple. Now, let's talk about why Francis lost, despite the fact he knocked Tyson down, despite the fact that he was hitting Tyson Fury throughout there. Yes, Tyson Fury did get hits off. I'm not going to deny that. But the fact is this. Let's think about this. There's a political aspect in sports. And I'm ashamed of some of these YouTube channels that thought that. I'm ashamed of them. Oh, for example, Blue Blood. He was like, oh, well, if he would have did more punching in the 9th and 10th round, then maybe he would have won. Stop. You should know better. You said you're a professional in the sports, you're YouTube, whatever it is. Stop. They was not going to let Francis win unless he clearly knocked Tyson out. And when I say knock out, he already knocked him out, but I mean knocked him out cold, where he needs a blanket and a pacifier, where his nighttime, his 90-night for him. Like, he's not getting back up. That's the only way they was going to allow Francis to win. You got to keep this in mind. Francis only been practicing. He was practicing boxing for how many months? 4 months. Think of how it will look. I mean, it's already looking bad in the boxing community that MMA fighter got that far, right? But imagine how worse it will look if you have a guy with only 4 months of training beat a guy who's been boxing, Tyson Fury, who's been boxing for years, beating some of the biggest and heaviest hitters out there, who's the #1 heavyweight champion of the world. You get a guy with 4 months to take that title away from him? Could you imagine? I mean, think about it. Think about the ramifications of something like that. Think about how disaster that looks. It's already going to look bad on Tyson Fury. It's already. Matter of fact, they asked Tyson Fury, oh, are you looking for a rematch? Is there a rematch clause? You know what Tyson Fury said? Oh, no. There's no rematch clause in. He was like a little mouse. Yeah, Tyson Fury like a little big mouse. He's a big guy scared of a mouse, like an elephant scared of a mouse. He was so calm and settled. None of that big mouth, none of that, I told you I was going to knock him. None of that happened. Not one of that happened. He was like, he's a great fighter. That's what he can say. He sound drunk. Yeah, he's a great fighter. I mean, what do you want me to say? Like, where's his father at? Why his father wasn't yelling in the ring how he knocked him out? Nothing. There was nothing. Zero from his side, right? But like I said, you got to remember, and even Francis said, you know what, he knew that the only way he was going to win that fight, even if he's ahead, even if he's doing the best he can do, was to knock him out. I mean, when I say he already knocked him out, but knock him out cold. That was the only way, where he'd have a blanket and a pacifier, and he's in bed, and it's night time. That's the only way. And that's understandable, because they just not going to let that happen, because it takes away everything that boxing is about. But it was a great fight. And for all of you guys out there who said, like Southpaw, who said, oh, it's not a way, it's MMA. The guy was just criticizing MMA fighters. Oh, they nothing, they garbage, they blah, blah, blah. And now guess what? I hope you watched this, Southpaw, because it was the greatest fight you probably will ever seen. It was a great fight. And guess what? It was worth the $79. It was surely worth it. And you want to know why? You missed out. By the way, you can go check the reviews and check the YouTube. Matter of fact, just Google it and you see how wonderful that fight was. It was a great fight. It was one of the best mixed fights I ever seen. It was really good. And I was so happy for it. Yes. Now, last thing I want to say, yes, Francis lost. We got that. He lost only by what? A split decision. Yes, that means one of the judges was like, no, Francis won. Yeah, he definitely won. Right? Another judge was a little, like, seemed a little weird. He was like, oh, Francis lost more, like quite a few rounds. I don't think so. Right? And then the last judge had Francis losing just by one round. So if you look at it all, he could have won.